Kevin just texted us back.
You are now
listening to
East Bay Radio.
Hello, welcome back to East Bay Live with one of our last ever times that we are doing this particular show and pod. We have been gone for 5+ months, but we are back in the studio. A couple of us are graduating. I just want to say, first of all, my name is Dom Torres. I'm the main host, or one of the co-hosts of The Warning Track, a show that was featured heavily on East Bay Live in the fall 2025 semester. How time flies. I can't believe that we're in the year 2026. A whole lot of things in the world going on, but before we do get this program started, I do want to say a big congratulations and extend all of my love to the outgoing graduates for the fall or spring 2026 class, or for the fall 2025 class, because we got to include those guys in too. And one of those graduates sitting here with me, one of my co-hosts, and of course one of my favorite people in the world, Thomas Inglemon. Congratulations. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Seriously. I had a blast last year, or in the fall, on when we were doing the warning track. It was one of the highlights of my life, I would say. Easily.
Same here. Who'd have known that, like, just talking about baseball would give us not only like this cool platform, like this really professional sounding board, but also just making connections and finding friends, finding opportunities. I had no idea that something like that was going to happen last semester. As we reminisce on it, I legitimately had no freaking idea that was going to be one of the biggest highlights of my time here at East Bay so far. Even though I'm not a communications major, I took podcasting and radio last semester because I needed some upper division undergraduate classes, and I decided, you know what, let me go ahead and do it. But I didn't expect that to all unfold at all.
Yeah, I agree. It's always good to it's really hard to find genuine baseball fans. At least for me, I don't know too many people who enjoy baseball as much as I do. So it was such a joy and a privilege to finally meet someone who, or at least two guys who enjoy baseball as much as I do, and who follow it as much as I do. People like that always have a special place in my heart.
Same here. It's and we had a couple of those people in our class, not just obviously like us three, but we had a couple of our other friends have not only we found out that they were baseball fans in general, but it was also that we all had this connection. I felt that there was good chemistry and balance between us three. And unfortunately, our good friend Kevin Duroff, who also is a co-host of this specific podcast, is not here with us. He had an interview today. So I want to wish him good luck as we move on with all of our professionals and professional lives, regular lives, and whatnot. But this as the last sort of show that we are doing, at least in this capacity. Not saying that we're done here, but East Bay again, as Thomas Inglemon's time is coming out, and with my time. Well, I'm here for another semester or so, but until then, just trying to reel it in as far as hey, we had this experience, we had this opportunity to go do something, and I think we all managed to find a way to do it well.
I agree. Yeah, man. Talking about baseball, I can do this for hours. I mean, I can do this all day, man.
Like Captain America.
It's so much fun, man.
It is so much fun, and we do have a little bit to talk about, because as plenty of you probably know, the baseball season is fully underway, and we have a lot of, some surprises. Actually, a lot of surprises. I just want to quickly go over, man, like how big this 40-game stretch has been so far for a couple of teams that some we thought were going to not do so well, and they have come out of the gates running in terms of not only their division, but also with their style of baseball that they're playing. And some teams that we did not expect to be in the gutter 40 games in. And I do want to kick it off here. Again, you're listening to Cal State Spade Live with the warning track. And I want to bring it over to, this is interesting. The NL Central has no teams that have under a 500 winning percentage. And for anybody who does not know what that means, when you play baseball games, you win or lose, all right? And you see that teams collectively make out to go with we ended up with an 82-80 record. Shout out to the Giants for 3 straight years of achieving that. But I say this because getting a 500 record in baseball, because 162 games, a lot has to happen correctly and in the right way. It has to fall correctly for you to be able to achieve anything over a 500 record. Now, that being said, when you have 5 teams, there are 5 teams in every single division in baseball, the NL Central, all of the teams, the Cubs, Pirates, Brewers, Reds, Cardinals, boast records of over 500. Would you say, Mr. Inglemon, that these 5 teams are the biggest surprise in baseball?
Definitely. You can tell the Reds are like hungry now because of how the postseason went for them, and they were barely above 500, right? 82-80 for the second wild card. No, the third wild card.
The third wild card, and we whooped their butts.
Yeah,
it was not. I want to bring it back to. I remember you watching the game on your laptop. And we were waiting for our turn to do the warning track in class, or I think we might have gotten. I'm not sure, but I remember they just talking about like the playoff previews, and I said pretty emphatically that if the Dodgers are lose in any capacity, like there might need to be some major changes. The opposite happened. We got a Shohei Ohtani home run off of Hunter Green in that first inning. I remember you telling me from your laptop, bro, Ohtani just hit a bomb. but please go ahead with the Reds and all of those different teams.
Yeah, so right now, 6 games separates the division.
That's crazy.
Reds are 20-18, Brewers are 19-16, Pirates are 21-17, the Cardinals are 22-15, and then you got the Cubs who are 26-12. Right now, the Cubs look like they're the favorite for that division.
Yeah.
But like last year, you gotta look out for Milwaukee because they kind of surprised everyone at the end. They had the best record in MLB, right?
They did.
Which no one saw that coming. I didn't see that coming for sure.
And especially when you have in 2024, when Craig Counsell and David Stearns both leave for jobs that were offering more money for them at those specific positions of general manager / operations head of management with Stearns, and with Craig Counsell as the manager, just a regular, the top end coach going over to Chicago. So we had those 2 guys leaving. Milwaukee all of a sudden still manages to retain the sort of same formula that they have been doing for the last 10 years, something that I didn't anticipate, but they have an incredibly well-coached staff. They have a great development program for pitchers. We've now seen Kyle Harrison is having a pretty incredible season. You want to talk about a guy who was included in that Rafi Devers trade. Kyle Harrison has not been on the Giants, and he has been performing better than I think a lot of people were expecting. But you look at the Milwaukee and you say, we've had Pat Murphy now for 2 straight years, not only win the division, but also get manager of the year. And I think rightfully so, just because of the expectations that they have for that team with us and the media. But you're also looking at it from the perspective of what they are doing as a baseball team is actually pretty remarkable, especially in today's Major League Baseball, where you need at least some sort of investment into your team. They don't do it as much as other franchises, but they still manage year in and year out to not only be competitive, but be near at the top of their division.
Yeah, because they traded Corbin. What's his name?
Corbin. No, they traded Corbin Burns to the Orioles.
Yeah, and I was surprised because they went to the playoffs the year before, did they not?
Yep.
And they won their division. Mm-hmm. So like I don't know, I was surprised at that. Just to see how they bounced back from that, and then they got rid of Peralta.
Yep, went to the Mets.
Yeah, he went to the Mets.
Yeah,
so.
David Stearns player.
Yeah, so it's surprising how they're able to still keep up, even though they're getting rid of their top guys.
It is, and it's something that I think speaks to the infrastructure of the way that franchise runs, even if they're not spending top dollars on people within their system, right? You want to talk about like long-term contracts on that team, and it's pretty much just Christian Yelich and Jackson Chourio, both outfielders. Jackson Chourio, I believe, even got the extension before he got up into the major leagues. But
yeah, he did.
But that's, again, it's a phenomenal franchise. We'll have to see how things pan out. The Dodgers did win. I have to bring my Dodgers.
Yeah, they were doing good. They just ran into the Dodgers.
Right. So, it comes for every team, but that is just the way that it goes. And I do think that we have to talk about the NL Central in terms of surprises. But this isn't a surprise for me, and just because I have so much respect for this franchise, and also because our current general manager got his head start on this franchise, the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah, they're keeping up with the Yankees right now. Man.
They, like every single year, the Rays always end up. So the New York Times / The Athletic, they run a survey poll of 400 executives, vice executives, and people in management to rank every single team from 1 to 10. Mm-hmm. And every single year, obviously, the Dodgers win every single year because we do have the best management in baseball. That is an objective fact by now and has been for well over a decade. But
having superstar players makes managing a little easier.
Well, yeah, but we've talked about this before. Hey, we have Andy Pages and Dalton Rushing are our guys, so I would like to push back on that a bit. But the reason to why I say this is because the Rays, who were previously managed by Andrew Friedman before the Dodgers said, "Hey, we have new ownership. Would you like to come manage our team for a lot of money?" That being said, the infrastructure that he left behind with a lot of the people that worked under him, I believe it's Eric Need who works who is a general manager for the Rays. And you want to talk about somebody who understands how to value players, develop players, find guys that will be able to turn their careers around, or signing guys that might have had subpar seasons to one-year deal, saying, "Hey, we can do something. We can do something for you. Just help us out here." The Rays have been able to do that every single year, essentially, for the same amount of time, and it's been extended for pretty much their entire franchise because those owners do not spend money on that Tampa team. So I don't find it surprising, but I still find it remarkable that they have not only just been keeping up with the Yankees in the AL East race, but they have it looks like they're going to be a really good team by the end of the year.
Yeah. Like you mentioned earlier, yeah, that franchise has been pretty good about just homegrown talent. But that didn't really happen until they dropped the name Devil from the Rays. So once they became just the Rays, that's when they started winning. Literally that same season. Mm-hmm. That's when they got Longoria back in 2008, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And by the way, that I think still is by far the best contract extension ever in Major League history. With the output that he's had over that stretch of time where he's played that third base position, I don't think there's been a better extension deal in baseball history than that. And that's crazy to say.
Yeah, I remember that game 162 walk-off in 2011.
Yep.
That was the only year my mom bought me MLB Extra Innings.
Wow.
And so I was flipping back and forth between that game and Boston because I believe they were tied for that final wildcard spot. And so I was watching the Red Sox and Oriole game, and then Robert Andino hit a walk-off single to beat the Red Sox. Mm-hmm. And then like 5 minutes later, Longoria walks it off for the Rays. wild card team into the playoffs.
Left field, like right into that like dugout spot.
Yeah, that little short port.
Yeah. MLB, it's funny because MLB The Show had an intro where it was game 162, the best game intro that I think I've ever watched on a baseball game that wasn't Mario, or like Nintendo related. But dude, just the way that this franchise has run, if you want to talk about all of the people who are contributing to the wins on this Tampa Bay Rays team, right? So you're looking at again, guys who you might not think are like they're world beaters, but they still manage to find ways to win. Junior Caminero, who has replaced a player that played shortstop and got a really hefty extension from the Tampa Bay Rays, but unfortunately he liked the minor leagues a little bit too much. So he's doing really well for them. He is indeed. I mean, he's hitting way above average. He's hitting 32% over league average. You got Yandy Diaz, who still is manning first base. Johnny DeLuca, Dodgers homegrown player that we decided to trade for Tyler Glass now. He's also doing well in center field. And all of the pitching, you have guys like Shane McClanahan, like your regulars, and Drew Rasmussen, two players who have been in that system for quite a while now, but surprisingly, maybe not surprisingly, but Nick Martinez, who was a starting pitcher for the Reds, they tried to make him into a viable big league starter. Mm-hmm. Nick Martinez didn't do as well as he did in San Diego when he was a reliever, but now at age 35, he's having one of the best seasons in his career. For anybody who might be counting, he's got an ERA of 1.71 if you're an analytics guy like me. Yeah, he's got a fielding independent pitching of 3.45, which is just around good average, and a very healthy left on base percentage at 90.2. So you're talking about, again, a team that I think would I think in most spots, again, for most people it would be surprising, but for me, this is just another year for the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah, was it Junior Caminero?
Mm-hmm. Yep,
I get his name and Caballero mixed up for some weird reason.
Same here.
I don't know why.
It's the O's at the end.
Okay.
Yeah, the O's and the L's instead of the whatever at the end. I think that's why.
and then Diaz, man, that guy's good, man.
He's really good.
He can play first and third, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a hitter. And then Caminero hit 45 last year? 45 homers?
If I look at the stats for Mr. Junior Caminero, he hit. Oh my gosh, everyone low. Yeah, he did hit 45 last year.
Interesting. And he's 21?
He is 22 years old.
22?
Yeah.
That's insane, man. Rays have a bright future.
They do a really good job of, again, identifying at the margins to make sure that their team is winning on all fronts. So
yeah, I'm sorry, but Yankees are taking a division this year.
I want to hear about what your Yankees are doing so far this year. They had a really awkward start to the year. I remember, I think they got swept by the Athletics earlier, but if you could bring me into your team update, Mr. Thomas.
So we lost 2 out of 3 from the A's at Yankee Stadium. Mm-hmm. All 3 games were very winnable for us.
Right.
But you can't knock the A's. They're a good team. They're just very underrated, if you ask me.
Sure.
We ended up losing 5 in a row. We lost the last 2 of that series. We got swept by Tampa. And then after that, we won like 8 in a row or something like that. It was – and something like that shows me the difference between last year's team and this year's team, because last year's team, we lose 5 in a row and it's kind of downhill from there. We lose 5, then – maybe take 2
sure.
and then lose 3 and then, but they turned that completely around and I don't want to say I was amazed, but it was really good to see that. It really was.
It's really good to see that Aaron Boone is going to be keeping his job for another 3 years because of the way that they're winning right now.
Yeah, he stepped it up big time as far as managing. Everything's clicking right now for the Yankees. The bullpen's good. The rotation's phenomenal.
Yeah. Rotation, I think, it's the you can say it's the best in baseball.
Oh, definitely, and we're not even at full strength. And then our lineups, they started off cold, but they're starting to warm up. we're starting to see what we're really capable of.
All right, and I'm looking at just again some of the hitting stats. Aaron Judge is hitting 82% over league average, which is Aaron Judge is the best hitter on the planet. I will like everybody. We had this discussion last year on who should win AL MVP, and we all came to the same conclusion that yes, it's not that Cal Raleigh didn't deserve it. It's just that Aaron Judge is that dang good.
Yeah, I agree. And that's not because I'm a Yankee fan.
No, it's not. And no, it's a sign and level of respect that you just give. You tip your hat to a player when they are doing that well. But some of the other big names who are also contributing. Ben Rice is hitting. You're not going to believe it when I say this. He's hitting 124% over league average as far as today.
That's not surprising, man. He's finally getting the playing time he needs to show his true to show who he truly is. That was him last year. He wasn't getting the playing time.
Right. And now he has full reins over at first, and it's clear that sometimes it is literally just about giving somebody the opportunity to do so. And the thing that say, like, as a Dodgers fan, I'll get to my team in a minute. Sometimes like you will have great guys in your system, but because they're blocked by somebody else. For Ben Rice last year, it was Paul Goldschmidt.
Yeah.
It was like, well, how am I going to get the opportunity if they think that somebody is going to be better than me at this position, or if it's say like name recognition, right? Like you think of, oh yeah, Paul Goldschmidt, like we can hit him against lefty pitchers, put him in the lineup for most days. He's still a decent fielder, but now that he's getting somewhere where he is allowed to, well, get that spotlight, it's clear that he is. I hope that this keeps up for the rest of the season. I don't think he's going to hit 124% over league average for the entire season, but it really would be nice to see sort of him take over that second best hitter spot in the Yankees lineup.
Yeah, it's him and Judge right now. They're like the two-headed monster, if you ask me. Rice is hitting 330 right now. 12 home runs.
The guy has gotten on base at 45.5% this season.
Yeah,
he's got a 759 slug. Again, 220. When you hit 124% over league average, I think you're doing something like not 24, 124. Like that's insane to me. Cody Bellinger, he's still he's gotten on base at a 40% clip, which is always something that you like to see. And he's still managing out in left field as they sort of like traverse this incredibly weird position. But yeah, I mean, you talk about the pitching. Cam Schlittler has easily been the best pitcher on the Yankees staff. A lot of the people, including a lot of the analytics people, including me, love him. He has a 1.52 ERA, and not only that, fielding independent pitching, which I talked about earlier. It's a statistic that only takes in what a pitcher can control: strikeouts, walks, and home runs. And that's all grouped up into this one stat. And obviously, like ERA, the lower the better. He has a 1.74 FIP. And in terms, I'll just say he's really, really good at pitching.
Yeah, he hardly walks anyone, which I think is insane.
Yeah. His 5% walk rate is, I'm just looking at his StatCast, it's amongst the best in baseball.
Him and Fried, dude, it's like we have two aces almost.
Yeah.
And then, Schlittler, we saw how good he is in the playoffs. He came
against Boston.
I wouldn't say he came out of nowhere. I kind of expected that. Going into the postseason, he was my predicted number 2 because he showed how good he was in the regular season, even if it was a small sample size. Dude, he's like basically Garrett Cole, if you ask me. But
and Garrett still I'm still expecting him to come back at some point.
Cole, yeah, he should be back by June, maybe the end of this month or June, and then we got Rodon back on Sunday. So
good stuff hanging in for you guys. Again, for a pitching staff that a lot of teams in the league, as you know, are looking for pitching. And it seems like the Yankees have that all under control.
Yeah, man, you got Fried, Schlittler, Cole, Rodon, and Warren.
Yeah, Will Warren's look really good too this year.
Except for that start last night.
It happens. It happens.
Man, no. 2 nights ago. That's because Evaldi has our number for some weird reason.
He does.
He's like out for blood when he pitches against the Yankees.
It's that Red Sox in it. And he again, he used to be a Dodger. He
was
rose
a Dodger?
through the Dodger farm system. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Before the
drafted-
Marlins?
Yeah, we drafted him.
Oh wow, I did not know that. I thought he
Yeah.
got drafted by the Marlins.
He is one of our very own. And I also just want to say, because the Dodgers stand as as the resident here, our season has gone well for the most part. There was a weird stretch last week where our bats just were silent for whatever reason, and it happens every year. It's not that I expect us to throw the roof off every time, because as an analytics heavy team, the Dodgers still try to push the ball up into the air as much as possible, which sometimes leads to games where you're asking, why can't you guys just get a single up the middle? It's not that difficult. The Dodgers, actually, believe it or not, have the lowest batting average with men loaded on base this season.
That's how it was in the playoffs.
Well, we won the World Series anyway, so what does that matter, right? So it's been okay, but the two biggest things that I will say that I'm especially proud of this season. Andy Pages, who had his breakout year last year, he had 28 home runs last year. He was also our third best hitter last year.
Wow, because
yeah.
Betts really struggled last year.
Betts
Right?
did not have it. Well, he had the weird stomach bug, and he also lost like 40 pounds.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Of weight, and I think that just affected him for the entire. It didn't affect him fielding. I think if anything, it probably helped him at short, just because he's a lot more mobile. He's traversing the infield, but in terms of the way that he had at the play, I mean, he literally just like he lost all of his power up until like the last fourth of the season.